to, doing what we need to do, staying up all night, everything is alright.
Hey everyone, what is up? It's Milan and welcome back to my channel. So, today, honey, do I have a story for you guys? I want to say this is a long-awaited story, but I honestly don't know. You might not have no idea what I'm even talking about. But oh well, I'm going to tell the story otherwise. So I am going to tell you guys all about my terrible ex-roommate. Yeah, there's a lot to get into, so I'm not sure if this will have to be 2 parts. Hopefully not. Might just be a really long video. Anyways, so yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Let's just get into the shittery that was my life. Okay, so basically, here's how it all started. So back in March of this year, I decided that I wanted to move out of my studio apartment. If you guys have been following me, you would have known that I lived in a studio apartment. I have a whole apartment tour that I did. You can watch that video. But anyway, yeah, so I used to live in a studio apartment by myself, just me and Luna together, and before COVID hit, I decided that I wanted to move because my rent was increasing a lot, So I went onto Craigslist and I decided to start looking at apartments. I was looking at apartments every hour of every day for weeks and months on end. I started looking long before March. So basically, I ended up viewing a place in a really nice area that was central to everything. It was a really good price, and I decided to go view it. So I went and I viewed the place, and basically at first glance, everything seemed really perfect, really awesome. There were 2 girls that lived there. It was a, what's it called? A duplex, I think. So basically it's like 1 unit on top and 1 unit on the bottom. So you only have 1 neighbor, which is really cool. And it also had a backyard. So if you know me, I have a dog, Luna, and a backyard for my dog is like, wow, that's awesome. I've never had an apartment that has a backyard. So yeah, basically I went and I saw the place. It seemed really great. It was a really great deal. I had not found anything close to that price or the location. So I went and I viewed the place, and the girl that was there was my roommate. We will call her Pam. So I meet Pam. Pam seems really nice, really fun, really normal, really easygoing. So I am viewing the place and I'm talking with her afterwards, and she's like, what'd you think of the place? How do you like it? Da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, it seems really great. I could definitely see this being a good fit for me and Luna. And that's when she basically offers me the room. She's like, well, yeah, I really like you. Honestly, like, you can just have the room. Like, do you want to take it now? And I was like, oh, wow. Because I wasn't expecting that, because I've never just been offered a room, like, right after seeing it. Usually they have more people that they want to, you know, like, sort through before they just offer you the place. So I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, just let me think about that for like a day and I'll get back to you. So after thinking about it and having my boyfriend come see the place and meet my potential roommates, we both decided that it was a good idea. I would be saving a lot of money, and unknowingly to me, COVID would hit very soon, so it would be important for me to move in somewhere before COVID started and everything. So I go ahead and I accept the room and I move into the place. So I move into the place, and honestly, the first like string of bad luck or bad occurrences, I guess you could say, was move-in day. So move-in day was a complete and utter disaster. I ended up hiring a mover who ended up stealing credit cards from me and spending over, I think, $500 on my credit cards, and I had no idea until like the day after. So that was a whole thing. That was, yeah. So he stole from me. I moved into the place. Not only did he steal from me, but he was like 5 hours late to moving. I didn't think that he was going to come. I was really stressed out because I had to be out of my studio apartment. So that was the first like bad occurrence, I guess. So more into the actual roommate. So at first Pam seemed nice. She seemed normal. It seemed like me and her would get along. One thing that I really liked about Pam was that she had a small dog that was the same size as Luna, the same breed as Luna. So when I first went and viewed the place, her and Luna would like go play in the backyard and they got along really well. And I had been wanting to find like a little friend for Luna, or I was even thinking about getting a second dog for Luna just because I felt bad about leaving her alone so much, but that's not a problem anymore because I'm home all the time now. So yeah, she had a dog, so I was like, oh, this is so good for Luna. She's gonna have a friend all the time, they can play, blah, 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 blah. However, Pam did not have very strict rules with her dog. So one of the first issues that me and Pam had when I first moved into the place, I want to say this was like a week after me moving in. Pam's dog pooped right in front of the doorway to my bedroom. And this was really gross to me and not normal and annoying, honestly, because when I first spoke with Pam, I remember she specifically asked me if Luna was potty trained. And I said, yeah, Luna's completely potty trained. Like, she doesn't go indoors. She doesn't do any of that stuff. She's like a really good dog. She's completely trained. And I asked her if her dog was potty trained because she had some pee pads laying around. And she said, yeah, she's potty trained, but I keep these pee pads for her just in case, you know, and I'm gone a long time, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's normal, like, no worries. However, it turns out that she sort of lied about that and that her dog wasn't really potty trained because her dog pooped right in front of my door to my room. So this was sort of annoying, but, you know. So I texted Pam in our roommate group chat and I was like, hey, I wasn't trying to be mean or anything like that. I just told her like, hey, your dog pooped like right by my room. She wasn't home at the time, so I had to text her. Could we please like keep the door closed so that she doesn't do that again, because like I don't want to accidentally step in pee or poop when I'm walking into my room at night or something like that. You know, it's just common courtesy. Just, hey, can you please not let your dog poop? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so I send that text and she responds back with, yeah, okay, something along the lines of like, yeah, okay. Also, me and the other roommate both want you to not leave Luna's food and water bowls out in the living room because the other dogs are going to eat it or something like that. And so I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure, that's no problem. That was weird to me because she didn't apologize. She didn't say sorry. She didn't do anything. Her response was sort of like when you tell someone something and they don't really want to accept it, and instead they try to find something about you or something that, I don't know, it's sort of like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but basically like you tell someone something like, hey, can you please not do this? And then they come back and they say like, yeah, well, can you not do this? Even though there was never really an issue. I don't know if that makes sense. So that sort of like set the mood for the way things were going to go between me and Pam whenever there was an issue between us. So I want to say like another week or maybe 2 of me living there. It might have been like the second week, honestly, because this was sort of becoming like a weekly occurrence. So the following week there was another little issue, And this time I was in the kitchen and I was like making myself food or something. And I realized that my avocados were gone. And I was like, that's weird. I just had these yesterday. Like, I didn't eat them. I didn't eat them in my sleep. So what happened? And nobody was home at the time. And I looked in the trash and I saw avocados in there. So I was like, okay, well, I guess someone ate my avocados. So previously in the past, I've had one other roommate in the past, and that's a whole other story. Oh my god. I had this roommate before, and he would like eat my food and take my stuff without saying anything or asking, and that was a terrible experience. He would also like not clean and then tell me to clean up after him. It was just terrible. So I had this experience in the past, and I was like, okay, I know how bad that got because I didn't say anything about it back then because I was like freshly 18. I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm like, okay, I talked to someone about it. I'm like, what do you think I should do? Should I just like let it go? Or they're like, no, you have to tell them. You have to be like, hey guys, can you please not eat my food? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. Again, I send a text because nobody's home. I'm not trying to be passive aggressive. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm trying to be like stern and like direct in what I'm saying because again, I don't want any problems. I just moved into this place. Like I just want to have a nice normal existence. So I text the group chat. I text something along the lines of, hi, can we please not eat each other's food? I was just in the kitchen trying to make myself a meal and I saw that my avocados were gone. So can you please Venmo me however much money for the avocado? I am not sure if you guys share food, but I am not open to sharing food because I pay for it. That's my money. If you do want to use something of mine, please ask me before you just use it because like that's like that's not respectful to just eat other people's food, especially people that you don't know. So I sent the text. I was not trying to like be like passive aggressive or like annoying or anything. I was just like being very direct and straightforward because I didn't want this to become a problem. Anyways, so Pam comes home and she is just walking around the house going having this like super like just gross, sour, passive aggressive mood. So I come out and I go up to her and she's in the kitchen like taking all of her groceries out. She was at the grocery store, I guess. And she goes, here's your avocados. And she takes avocados. She's like, here's another one. And I'm like, whoa, like, what is going on? Why are you so upset? And she was like, honestly, I just think your attitude is like really bad vibes. And I just don't want these bad vibes in my house. And da 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 da. I'm like, and I'm very calm. Like, I'm not mad at all. I just wanted to get my point across and be like, hi, can you please not eat my food? Like, I never said that I was okay with sharing food. We never said that that was a thing, so please don't eat my food. And she's just like, you're just like giving bad vibes and like, I didn't mean to eat your avocados, okay? Like, I didn't know that they were yours. I thought they were mine. So you don't have to like be so rude about it and blah, 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 blah. And I was like very calm. I wasn't even upset at this point. I was just like, okay, I don't know why you're so upset. Like I wasn't trying to be passive aggressive or rude. I think that it's disrespectful to eat other people's food and not ask or tell them. I get it if it was an accident and you just thought that it was yours. But again, like you can just, like it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So she just has like this really like gross, like mad attitude at me and I'm just like, okay girl, like I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm very calm, I'm not upset. Like you're trying to come at me with all this like I don't do bad energy bullshit and you literally came and like stormed into the house and like started fuming. Anyways, so that was like the first two little issues that we had. Then as time went on, it was just like things like her dog would pee right by my room, her dog would poop in the dining room and I would tell her and then she would leave it there like for a day and not pick it up, which was disgusting, like literally so gross. It made me, it was so gross. Her dog would poop in her room and she would leave it there. She would be in the room and the poop would just be there and she like wouldn't pick it up. Not on a pee pad, it's literally on the floor, like disgusting. Just like little things would happen like this. She would like text me passive aggressive text messages telling me to do this, to do that, that I didn't do this, that I didn't do that, just like things like that. And basically the tone of all of her messages and the way she would talk to me was always like extremely passive aggressive and extremely like demanding, almost like she thought that she was like the head of the household, and or like she was my parent or something like that. I don't know. And just to be clear, none of us were on the lease. Just to like clear that up, none of us were on the lease. So it was like 3 girls living there, and none of us were on the lease. We all rented or subleased, I guess, from a girl. So like, yeah, she had been living there longer, but I don't know, the way she acted was just like, I don't know, just, yeah. So basically time goes on, and I want to say this was like around Easter time. She got me really pissed off, like really mad. And this was the point where I decided that I did not like her at all, and I didn't want anything to do with her because of the way she treated me in this situation. So it's like the stupidest thing ever. But basically, the lady that we leased from texted our group chat and was like, hey, is there any trash outside of the house? And I respond back, no. So earlier that day, I had gone through clothes, and I had gotten rid of some clothes. I just put clothes like in a trash bag, and I put it like a few houses down from our house, and I set it out there. So like, before I get into this, I've never had an issue with putting clothes or items out on the street. I don't know, you guys tell me if this is a problem where you live, but I've lived in much nicer neighborhoods than the one that I was living at. Much like, I don't know. And I've never had an issue with that. I've never had anyone like complain or tell me not to do that, because in my mind it's like, why would I just throw the stuff in the trash if someone else can use it and someone else can take it? Like, it's not like I'm just like putting garbage out on the curb. Like, hello, we're not in New York. But I put a bag of clothes out there. Anyway, so I get the text message, I respond back. And a few minutes later, Pam texts me separately and is like, Milan, that is your stuff, what are you talking about? And I just like ignore her text message because I'm like, what is this bitch talking about? Like, I have no idea what she's even saying. Anyway, so like an hour later or something, she comes home and she busts in the door. So she busts in the door, and I think I'm like in the hallway or like in the kitchen or something. She busts in the door and she is like yelling at me. She's like, Milan, you're a liar. Why would you lie to her? That's your stuff outside. You put your things out there. Why did you lie to her in the message and say that there wasn't any stuff outside? I'm like, dude, excuse me? Like, what are you talking about? She asked if we had trash in front of the house. I simply responded back to her saying no. She didn't ask if it was our stuff or anything like that. She just asked if there was trash outside. There isn't trash outside. So I said no. And she's just going on and on. She's like, no, that's your stuff. You put clothes out there. That's yours. Why would you lie to her like that? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, she's just like yelling at me, calling me a liar, telling me that, just like calling me names and stuff. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, what are you on? Why do you think that you can talk to me like this? Like, are you good? Are you a little like, are some loose screws in your brain or something? She literally came in the door acting like she's my freaking mother and like I'm a 5-year-old that just got in trouble or something. She's calling me a liar. She's like, oh, I hate liars. You're a liar. You're a liar. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, all right, you're like, you need to stop this right now. Like, you are out of your mind and you need to stop. Anyways, so I don't know, I tried to like block all of that out of my memory. So we go downstairs and we put the stuff in the trash can, and I am pissed the fuck off. I mean, I am like, when I get really mad, I can't like not show that I'm mad. So I clench my jaw and I like look very mad because I can't hold back my emotions. So we go upstairs, I go into my room, I shut my door, I tell her to leave me the F alone. And then she wants to like come back and apologize to me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. I shouldn't have blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I literally don't care. Like, you are nothing to me at this point. Like, I don't know who she thinks she is, but like, I was just so pissed. And like, I wasn't about to put up with any of this sort of shit again. So I end up confronting her like a few days later because I was too mad to even talk to her because I mean, like, who treats people that way? Like, who, even if I was some liar that threw trash outside and then lied about it and like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, even if I was this person that lied about throwing trash outside, like, what is that response? Like, what is that? Like, why are you gonna act that way to someone you literally just met? I don't know. So anyways, I end up confronting her and I'm just like over it at this point. I'm like, look, you aren't gonna talk to me however you want. You're not gonna treat me like I'm your kid or your friend or your employee or something or your family, because I'm none of those things. I'm literally a stranger to you. You don't freaking know me from anywhere. You don't know shit about me. So you're not going to yell at me. You're not going to treat me like that. You're not going to call me names. Like, you're not just going to come up to me and yell at me and call me a liar. That's not okay ever in any situation. I was like, I don't know what roommate situations you've had in the past. I've only had one, and let me tell you, this is not how you treat a roommate in any situation ever. Even if I did something terrible to you, you talking that way to someone is not okay. I was infuriated. Like, my voice was shaking because I was so mad. And she's like, oh, it's okay, Milan, you don't have to cry. I'm like, bitch, I'm not crying. I don't know. I get so mad sometimes, and my voice just like, my throat dries up and my voice like gets like, because I'm so freaking mad. And I'm like, bitch, I'm not crying. Like, you have me so pissed off. Like, I literally don't even want to be here because of the way you treat me, the way that you like talk to me, the way you always have some sort of comeback whenever I bring up an issue that I have, like your dog shitting everywhere, your dog pooping and peeing wherever she wants. You always have some little like sly remark. You never apologize whenever you're in the wrong. And I'm just like sick and tired of it. Like, I told her point blank, like, I don't want to live here. You're not going to keep treating me like this. And if you do keep treating me like this, I'm not going to treat you nice anymore. I'm going to treat you how you treat me. And let me tell you, honey, I can be a way bigger bitch than you, okay? Like, you're not going to enjoy yourself here if you keep treating me like that. And she ended up apologizing, of course. She ended up apologizing, being like, oh my God, Milan, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't want you to feel like you don't belong here. Like, this isn't your house. Because I also said, like, this is my house. I pay rent here the same as you. Like, I don't give a shit if you've lived here longer or if you feel like this is your house or whatever. But, like, you're still going to respect me and not treat me like that. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sorry I treated you like that. This is your house too. Like, I don't want you to feel like you don't belong here. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay. I was just like, all right, this girl is on thin ice with me. If she keeps coming at me and treating me like a psychopath, she's gonna have some real problems. So basically, she didn't stop. She didn't yell at me again, but she would just like do a bunch of weird, annoying, sly shit. So like in the group chat, she would tell me to stop doing laundry so much because I like one day of the week would do like 2 loads of laundry, and she would be like, you're gonna increase our water bill and I don't want to pay for that, and da, 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 da. Basically making it seem like I'm doing 20 sets of laundry every day, which I wasn't. I was just doing laundry like a normal human being. Like, sorry you're not clean and you don't like to do laundry. I don't even know when she does her laundry because I don't know. She would just like come at me for shit like that and be like, oh, Milan said that she would pay for the laundry if she does it a lot, which I literally never said. I said if the bill increased a lot for me doing laundry, which I knew that it wouldn't increase that much because she was acting like I did laundry every freaking second of the day. I said that if it increased by a lot, yeah, I'll pay the difference, but I already knew I wasn't going to. So she sent a text like that in the group chat being like, oh, she said she would pay for the extra electricity water bill this month in a group chat. And I'm like, first of all, no, I never said that. Second of all, I said if the bill increases greatly and it's only because of my water usage, then sure. And then she would just like, I don't know, she would just like send me passive aggressive texts all the time. She would start doing shit like only putting away her dishes, leaving mine out, only throwing away her trash, like in the common areas, leaving mine there. And she was just like picking at me and picking at me and picking at me. And I was just getting so sick and tired of it to the point where I literally did not even want to be at the apartment because every time I was there, she would like try to like come at me and like try to pick all of these little problems with me. And I don't know what it was or like why, but for some reason I guess there was just something about me that this chick really did not like, something about my personality or me, I have no idea, that she just didn't like, and she decided that she was gonna try to like make my life a fucking living hell or something. So yeah, so basically time goes on and she's just like doing her little dumb shit and it's really getting to me. And I wasn't even staying at my apartment anymore because it was really so toxic and so just like disgusting feeling that I didn't even want to be there. So basically I decided that I was going to send a group text to my like the group text with the lady that we leased the apartment from, and like so basically I decided that I was going to message the lady that we leased from and basically just tell her everything that's been going on, all the issues that I've had with her, all of the things that she's like done towards me when it was not necessary at all. So I send an extensive text message. I'll actually see if I still have them and maybe I can include them. I might just have to like blur out some things. If I do, I'll put them here, I guess. But it's a lot to read. So I basically just like list out every issue that I've had with her, every wrong that she has done to me. And I send it into our group text and basically like just put everything out on the table. And essentially the lady that we lease from, I need to give her a name because she comes into the story soon. So let's call her Jessie. So the lady that we lease from, Jessie, she basically has nothing to say of any substance, and she's just like, yeah, you girls need to figure this out, like there shouldn't be this many problems, like you guys should just treat each other with respect, you shouldn't, you know, da da da. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I have been trying to not cause any problems and not have any issues between us, but she will not leave me alone. She will not just like let me be. She every day or every like week or something will start some shit with me, and I'm just like sick and tired of it. And I was just telling her like, look, I lease from you, I don't lease from this bitch, and you are like not holding up your standard of like the contract that I signed. Like you're not holding up your end of the bargain basically, because you're not making sure that it's like a good like non-toxic environment for us to live in. So basically we go back and forth So I send a bunch of messages, Pam sends a bunch of messages back, basically trying to tell me that I'm a liar and that I'm this and that I'm that, when in reality she's just a psychopath and she can't admit it, and she can't admit any wrongdoings that she does, even when I have literal like photo evidence of it. I have like just evidence of everything that she's done, and she just refutes everything, tells me that I'm a liar, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so since Jessie decides that she's not really gonna do anything about it and she's just going to let us figure it out by ourselves, me, Pam, and my other roommate, so basically there was another roommate that lived there, but she was a model and she was never really home, so sadly it was always me and Pam that were there. But during this time my other roommate was home, and so her, me, and Pam are going to have this little like town meeting conversation thing, which didn't help anything at all. So basically they come knocking at my door at like 12 a.m. on like a freaking Tuesday or something, and they're like, hey, can we talk now? After I've literally been waiting for us to have a talk for like a week. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. So we go out into the living room, and basically I'm like, all right, well, like, here's all the issues that I've had. I've brought this up to you many, many times, but every time I bring up any issue with Pam, she always refutes it, denies it, tells me that it's not true, says that I'm making it up, anything. So very quickly the conversation did not go well because she's a literal psychopath and just denied everything and would start freaking out at me, and I would just get so pissed because it's literally like talking to a brick wall, but it's like a brick wall that like spits bricks back at you practically, because it's like, no, I didn't do that, but da 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 da, just like harassing me and like trying to make me seem like I'm a crazy person or like I'm a liar. So gaslighting me, making it seem like I'm the problem, I'm the one that just came into this apartment and just fucked everything up, even though I literally came into the apartment like wanting to make friends, wanting to have a nice place to live, wanting to just like have a normal living situation for once, and this girl would not allow it. And I don't know what the reasoning was. I don't know why she didn't like me. She would say that she liked me. She said that, you know, I don't hate you, I like you, I don't know why you treat me like this, blah blah blah, when it's like very, very clear that she clearly hated me for whatever reasons and could not treat me like a normal freaking human being. So yeah, the conversation went nowhere and ended up with just us yelling at each other because, again, like I said, she could not accept anything that I would say, even when I would say like, yeah, remember when your dog pooped right in front of my room? And she's like, that didn't happen, that's not true. And I'm like, yeah, it did. I literally sent a text message that said that, and here's your response, and you never apologized. She's like, I apologized. I'm like, no, you didn't. I wouldn't be upset still if you did apologize, but you never apologized. And like, oh, remember when you yelled at me because I put clothes outside? No, that didn't happen. What are you talking about? I didn't yell at you. Oh, okay, yeah, so I'm just making that up. Okay, cool, yeah. That's basically how the whole conversation went. And my second roommate was just sitting there the whole time. Like, I felt bad for her because, you know, she didn't have any issues with either of us, but she was basically just like stuck there in the middle. But she wouldn't say anything or like pick sides at all or try to help the situation like get to like a middle ground. But yeah, so basically let's fast forward to when the craziness actually happens and I end up having to call the police on her. So basically during COVID, Oh, actually, I just want to add this part in because it's like so funny to me. So, Pam basically was studying to become a psychologist. Yeah, I know, right? That's the funniest part of like the whole story. Yeah, anyways, so during COVID, both of my roommates, Pam and my other roommate, decided that they wanted to get out of town. So Pam was from Mexico and she decided that she was going to go back to Mexico for like a month or two to be with her family. And my second roommate, like I said, she was a model and she had a lot of work out of the country. So she went out of the country for like 3 months, 2 months or something like that. So during this time, it was great. I had the whole apartment to myself. It was just me and Luna. It was so nice. It was like the best time that I had had living there. So fast forward to Pam coming home back from her little vacay. So I don't know what day it was, but I do know that it was a Monday. It was a Monday, and typically when we would come back home, or just, I don't know, like when we would basically like update in the group chat, like, oh, I'm gonna be gone, oh, I'm gonna blah blah blah. So I was expecting Pam to send the group text a message saying like, hey, coming back home, we'll be there this day, this time, whatever. Like, you don't need to, but that's typically what we did so that we all just like knew what was going on, you know? So there was no text sent, and I wasn't expecting her to come home because she said that she was going to be gone for a month, but it had already been like almost 2 months and she still wasn't home. So yeah, basically it's a Monday night. I am in the middle of finals, and me and Luna are getting ready to go to bed. I want to say it's like 11 o'clock, 11:30, whatever. So basically I need to explain the layout of the apartment so that you can understand this, because it's going to be important for the story. So we are on the second floor. Like I said, it's a duplex, so there's one apartment on the bottom, we're upstairs. So basically the way that our apartment is that, so here's like the street. So there's a street, and then here is our living room. Our living room's in the front. Then there's a room here, then there's a long skinny hallway. So there's 2 rooms along the hallway. There's a long skinny hallway. Then there's a second hallway that breaks off in the very back of the apartment. So in the very back, there's a skinny hallway. Then there's a bathroom, which was mine. And then the skinny hallway goes like this. And then my room is back here. So my room faces the backyard. So my room is facing the backyard, and then the front of the house is where the front door is, obviously. Anyways, so I am getting ready for bed. I go and shut the curtains, go and lock the door, do what you do when you're home alone and you're a woman, and you're getting ready to go to bed. So like I said, there's a little skinny hallway door. So I go and I lock the front door. And like I said, there's a little skinny hallway here where my bathroom is. And between this skinny hallway, there's a door. So when I was texting her previously being like, hey, can we please shut that door so that your dog doesn't keep peeing and pooping here? So there's this door and it shuts. And then there's the skinny hallway, and then there's my room that comes off of that hallway. So my room has a door. So I shut that door, the hallway door, then I shut my door, and I'm just like laying in bed, getting ready to go to bed. And all of a sudden I get a banging on my door. I want to say it's like an hour later. It's like 12:30, something like that. I get a pop, 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 pop on my door, and I'm like, what the fuck? I obviously know that it's one of my roommates, because like otherwise, what, someone just broke into my apartment or something? So I'm like, 1 second, and I'm literally half asleep. So I'm like looking for pants, and I go and I find like a pair of pants, and I put on my pants, and I go and I open the door, and I'm super like just out of it because I'm like basically asleep. So I open my door, and it's Pam's little disgusting F-buddy man. We'll call him, what should we call him? We'll call him Mafioso because he liked to act big, bad, and tough like he was in a gang or something. So it's Pam and Mafioso, and I open the door and I'm like, yes, what's going on? And they start freaking screaming at me, screaming at the top of their lungs. So Pam is like, why'd you lock us out? What the hell is wrong with you? Ba-da-da. And Mafioso is yelling at me too. So they're both just screaming at me, saying that I locked them out of the house and just like yelling at me. Then all of a sudden this random dude who I've never seen before in my life turns around the corner and he's like dripping sweat. So there's just like this random guy dripping sweat, like just looking at me, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm just standing in my doorway and they're screaming at me, screaming. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What are you guys talking about? Why are you freaking out? What are you talking about? They're like, you locked us out, you stupid bitch. You know that you locked us out. You did it on purpose, da 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 da. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, how did I lock you out? What are you saying? And they're like, you locked the front door and you locked us out. You knew that I was home and you did that on purpose, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like trying to piece together what they're saying, because again, they're like freaking yelling at me, and I'm like, okay, what? Like, I didn't even know you were home. What are you talking about? Yeah, I locked the front door when I went to bed. I didn't know that you left the door unlocked. I didn't even know that you were here. Like, I had no idea that you were home. So what? Like, and then she's just yelling at me. She's like, you did it on purpose. You did it on purpose. You fucking hate me. Da da da. And I'm like, okay, first of all, like, why didn't you have your phone? You could have just called me or texted me. She's like, I left it upstairs. I'm like, okay, and you didn't have your keys? Like, what? She's like, I didn't have it. I'm like, okay, how is this my fault? Like, I had no idea you were home. You didn't have any of your shit, and you just went downstairs without telling anyone that you were home, and you expected me to just somehow know that you're here? And so I'm like trying to reason with them, but they're freaking pissed off. So apparently they busted the door open, or they went downstairs to the neighbors and they like got a screwdriver and like took the door off or something. I don't know, but I literally didn't hear them at all. Like our street that we're on is pretty busy and like kind of loud sometimes. So I like straight up, I had no idea that they were there. Like I could have lied. I could have lied about it and been like, oh. But I literally had no idea that they were there. Like, I'm being dead ass. So they're still screaming at me. This dude is like coming into my face being like, no, you're a fucking liar. You know that you knew that we were here. You did it on purpose. Your dog was barking the whole time. Your dog was barking? Really? You didn't hear us? We heard your dog barking the whole time. We've been pounding on the door for hours. I'm like, what the fuck? So already like I'm just over it because they're freaking out at me, and I'm like using a rational mind, and I'm like, okay, they didn't have a phone to call me. They didn't have their keys to open the door themselves. They didn't have the brain capacity to realize that my room is in the back, near the backyard, and I have a window. They could have just gone in the backyard and yelled at me, and I would have woken up. I would have heard them. But instead they decided to pound on the front door for hours, apparently, and then bust the door down. Like, honestly, it doesn't sound like a me problem at all. It sounds like a you problem. And from the way they were dressed and how they looked, it seemed like they had just gone out and partied because little Pam was back and she wanted to go out and get lit with her man and her friends or whatever. So they were probably drunk, I don't know for sure, but from the way they were acting and how sweaty that one random guy was, pretty sure they had just gone out and like got lit. So at this point, I'm just like over it. I'm like, okay, you guys, you're being crazy, you're being in my face, you're screaming at me, like I don't feel comfortable with this, so you guys need to get out of my room. Like, again, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were here, but you guys need to get out of my room now because this is like too much. Like, you're doing too much now. So I go ahead and I close my door. I start to close my door, and I'm closing my door, and they aren't getting out of the freaking door. So I'm closing my door, I'm pushing my door, and they decided they're not gonna let me close my door, and they're gonna push the door back onto me, and both of them freaking push my door back open. The door swings open. I like go back, the door swings open. I have a side, like a glass side table right next to my door, and it swings open and it freaking hits my side table, and my side table just completely like falls, and all my shit falls everywhere. And my side table was like right here, and Luna had, I guess, gotten up from the bed, and she was like standing beside me because I don't know, that's just what she does. And I looked down, and the side table's like this close from hitting her, like this close from hitting her. She moves out of the way, and I am freaking pissed. I'm infuriated. I'm mad. I'm like freaked out because they're acting like psychopaths. They really had the audacity to push my door back open onto me and almost hurt my dog and freaking ruin my side table. Like, no. So something just switches in me. I've never screamed like this. Actually, I probably have before, but I freaking lose it, and I'm screaming at them. Like, I'm sure I looked insane. I'm screaming at them. I'm like, get the fuck out of my room! Get the fuck out of my room right now! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, I'm sure the neighbors thought that they were trying to murder me, but I don't know. Like, I don't know them. They literally could have tried to freaking attack me. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my room! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Now! 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 You guys are crazy! You guys are crazy! Get out of my room! And this bitch really has the audacity. This little 4-foot tall girl really has the audacity to step up to me and go like, if you're gonna hit me, fucking hit me then. Oh my god, honey. It took everything in my body not to just I could literally, oh my god, let's not get into it, but she really has the audacity to say that. So I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, get the fuck out of my room. You are psychopaths. I'm gonna call the cops on you. I'm literally calling the cops on you. And so after screaming for, I don't know what felt like forever, the guy like pulls her and he's like, come on, let's go. So I go and I slam my door, and I get on the phone and I call my boyfriend, and I'm like freaking out. I am literally like shaking. I'm like vibrating. I feel like the adrenaline just like started pumping in my body so much, because it honestly gave me like a fight or flight like feeling, because it was like, I don't know, it was just like such a crazy freaking situation. Like, I've never had something like this happen to me in my life, especially with a freaking stranger. So I'm on the phone with my boyfriend. I'm like, babe, like, I don't know what to do. They just like barged in my room, and it's like 1 a.m., like 1:30 at this point. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? He's asleep. He's like, okay, just call the cops. Like, I'll come over in a minute. Like, da da da. So, so I'm like, okay. And I'm hyperventilating, and I'm like shaking because like I have anxiety, and whenever like freaky, scary situations happen, like my anxiety gets freaking pumped up to the max, and I start to have a panic attack, because that's just how my body reacts. So I'm like having a panic attack, and I'm like dialing 911. I'm like, hello, I need to I'm like, hello, officer, I need to make a domestic dispute call. And he's like, okay, ma'am, like, are you okay? Please calm down, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. My roommate and her boyfriend just like came into my, not even her boyfriend, it's like her fuck buddy, her disgusting little fuck buddy. Even though, want some tea? Here's the tea, honey. Want some tea? I'm gonna give you some quick hot tea real quick. So, this bitch Pam. So she's from Mexico, right? And apparently she has a boyfriend in Mexico. She tells me this when I first move in. She has a boyfriend in Mexico. And apparently Pam is a little player and has a bunch of little friends here in LA, and just messes around with all of them, but still always talks about her boyfriend. So, you know, Pam's a hoe. Not the good kind of hoe. She a hoe. So don't know how that works. Pretty sure they're not in an open relationship, but there's that tea. Anyways, so I get off the phone with the police and they're like, okay, we'll send someone to you. And I already knew like the police can't do anything because it's not like they swung on me or something, which God, I wish they did. But so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm just like sitting in my bed, like still freaking out, having a full-on panic attack because like that is, I don't know, I don't even have to explain it. Like it's a freaking scary situation to have people like out of their mind come bust into your room, like trying to fight you, trying to like start some shit with you. And so my boyfriend ends up coming and the cops get there, so I like go downstairs and I talk to the cops. I'm like, yeah, this is what happened, blah 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 blah. And I already knew that they were just gonna be like, well, we can't do anything, but so they're like, yeah, well, we can't do anything, but like they took like jotted down some notes or whatever and like had it in writing that there was a domestic dispute and like that these people busted in my room and like were being crazy. Actually, I have the card from the police. Let me get it. Literally, is it dated? Yeah, it's dated and everything. So here's what it looks like. Shout out Madrid Jimenez. So this happened on 8/25. It says ongoing neighbor dispute at location, no crime at this time. Basically they advised me to get a restraining order from her or to move out of the place, which is like, yeah, no shit, like what else am I gonna do? But anyway, yeah, so they gave me this card and they were like, if anything else happens, give us a call, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks guys. And so yeah, so they leave and then my boyfriend's still there and he's like, okay, we gotta go get your stuff, like just pack up your stuff and like we'll go to my house because you're not gonna stay there because this is clearly unsafe. Like these people are clearly unhinged and like I don't know, they could come into my room and try to freaking stab me. I don't know, like I don't know them. They're clearly not sane people, especially Pam. So yeah, so we go upstairs and I start like just packing my bags and everything. And as we were coming up the stairs, Pam tries to like say some shit to my boyfriend and like try to start beef with him, and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever, because that's how she is, like she's actually crazy. So I'm packing my stuff and then I go to leave, and as I'm walking out the door, little mafioso boy is in Pam's room laying on her bed, and as I'm walking in into the hallway towards the front door, he decides that he was gonna get up from the bed and walk into the door frame of her room and stand there like this over me as I'm walking out the front door. And so I turn around and I look at him and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What do you think you're doing? You trying to intimidate me? Like, yeah, you think you're tough? And my boyfriend looks at him and he gives him a look. And he's like trying to be big and bad. I'm like, bro, you don't scare me, little pussy boy, okay? Anyway, so we leave and I go over to my boyfriend's house and I like just, yeah. So that's how that situation ended. And basically there's like a whole aftermath to all of this. So if you guys would like to hear the like aftermath story, there's honestly a whole lot more that happens after this, and like the story of how I ended up being able to move out of there, and I get my leaser lady Jessie involved. And she is a whole other story because she was not on my side, to say the least. She diminished everything that happened to me. She basically only cared about us paying her rent every month and didn't give a shit about our well-being or if this girl was actually crazy and like wanted to fight me or something. So I can make a second video. It's just this video is getting really long right now. So if you're interested in hearing the aftermath of this whole situation, I guess just let me know. I'll probably end up making it anyway. So yeah, that is the story time of when I had to call the cops on my roommate because she was a psycho. So that's my story. Hopefully I don't have any more stories like this in the future to tell you guys because, oh my god, like, I just want a normal roommate. Finding a roommate in LA is one of the hardest things ever, because I've only had 2 and both of them have been insane so far. So I guess take that as a word of advice from me, I guess. And don't get a roommate in LA because they're not normal most of the time. Alright, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I will try to film the part 2 if you guys want that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Alright, bye guys.